Alright, hey everyone, Christian here from CK Wraps. So today we're going to go over some different vinyls, and so what I have here are some different brands of vinyl. I also have some different textured films here. I have carbon fiber, I have gloss, and I have matte. Okay, so I'm going to list these off from end to end, and I'm going to tell you who makes them. So this is by Vvivid, this is carbon fiber, this is Vvivid's brand new carbon fiber. Now, both are sort of a dry finish, but this one is much more resistant, and it does have it actually is a lot more black looking at it, and it has a sheen to it. So compared to their TrueR carbon fiber, which I'm a huge fan of, this actually looks a little bit nicer to me. It looks a little bit more realistic as far as the weave goes and the pattern goes. And we'll get some close-ups of all this stuff afterwards. And this is also very resistant to getting particles in it, dirt, wax, that kind of stuff, so it's very easy to clean. As opposed to the old stuff here, which is the drier version, a lot more difficult to maintain and keep clean, especially if you're waxing your car and you happen to get wax on the hood or whatever panel that's wrapped in this film. It's going to be a nightmare trying to get it out. You're going to need a toothbrush or some kind of a bristle brush to get it out. It's going to be a little difficult. In the middle here, we have purple carbon fiber. This is a Chinese film, okay? We purposely picked this up so we can do a demonstration on all these films right here. So that is a Chinese film, and we're going to show you exactly how this works. So I'm going to explain a couple of things about Chinese film right now, and the way Chinese film is when I say Chinese film, I more so mean no name. There isn't a lot of technology that goes into this stuff, guys. They're just slapping adhesive, the cheapest kind they can, on some vinyl, and they're calling it a day. Now this stuff is not good for your paint. This will actually eat your paint. It's been proven time and time again that this will eat your paint, okay? You leave this on for several months, depending on the climate that you're in. You go to take it off, it's going to have actually dissolved some of your clear coat or possibly even your paint. And I've seen this happen. We go over into this side right here. We have more standard films or standard finishes. We have gloss, looks like silver metallic, by 3M. Now, I'm not a huge fan of 3M. You notice that I never use it, and I never will use it, because their film leaves a lot of glue lines. And what I mean by glue lines is that when the surface area is warm or hot or whatever, when you go to reposition this film and you move it back, when you do that, what happens is it creates a line of glue, and that's adhesive buildup. These things do not go away. So when we're choosing a finish and a product and a final product on your vehicle, we have a few things to keep in mind. We have ease of installation, and how the finish looks, okay? So keep those two in mind. There's a balance somewhere in the middle where it will look great, but be really hard. So that's not a balance. There's a balance where in the middle where it'll be somewhat moderate to install as far as difficulty goes, but the finish will look fantastic. So this is why I use Vvivid a lot for gloss and matte finishes and whatever other finishes, because their films leave zero glue lines. You literally have to leave it in a position for about an hour or longer, and then it might start to have adhesive buildup. And what I mean by leaving it in a position for an hour is that if we squeegee half of the hood down on the car and leave the other half unsqueegeed, and we just leave that line there where it's squeegeed up to and not squeegeed from that point on, what's going to happen is the adhesive is eventually going to start to build up on that line. You're going to have a permanent line there. So how quickly that sets depends on the brand of film. Different brands set at different rates. So Avery, for example, theirs has it. They're not as thick, but it does set fairly quick, so you have to kind of move quickly, you have to move fast. The nice thing about their film is that it's pressure sensitive, so you're not getting any tack on the panel without actually having to push it down. So you could reposition it around a little bit more easily, and it's one of my favorite films to use as far as installation goes. Now, as far as the final product goes, I like to choose Vvivid because that is the product that I find looks the nicest in the end. So 3M will leave really thick glue lines and really wide glue lines. So thick, what I mean by thick is tall glue lines, and then wider glue lines. So they're actually really not appealing at all. I've had a lot of customers ask me, why is it like this? How do I get rid of them? Like they don't go away. They're just like that. I've had I've spoken with professionals in the industry about this stuff, and they agree, you know, they don't even like using this film. So just because it's 3M doesn't mean that it's a good film. Just because it's so expensive, or a lot more expensive than all the rest, doesn't mean it's a good film. Yes, usually you get what you pay for, but not in all situations, all right? Sometimes you're just getting ripped off. This right here is Oracal, or Orafoil, or whatever you want to call it. 970 RA, so rapid air, a rapid air release more or less. So it does have air release, it works very well, and it is a nice film. If you've ever used Hexus, or if you've ever used Hexus, or if you only ever used Hexus and never used Oracal, Oracal and Hexus to me are similar as far as the way they respond goes and the way the installation goes. It's somewhat of a moderate level installation. It's a little bit more aggressive. It does leave glue lines, and they do have a lot more color options. And this is fairly affordable as well. It's kind of in the price range of Avery, with 3M being the top. Now, that's a matte finish or a satin black, one of the two. This one here is a new film by Vvivid. This looks like I want to say it's matte. It's not gloss. It's like a matte metallic rose gold. I think that's what it's called. They didn't give you the name of this. It's just, this is brand new, so no one has this yet. No one's even seen it yet. But it's actually a super nice film. It's got a nice glitter to it. I'm trying to let the camera focus. So hopefully you can see that. And it's really nice. Now I'll bring all these up right now so you can see them. We're going to show the backing paper on the Oracal. So it says Oracal 970 RA. All right. That's that. It's just a basic satin black. I'm pretty sure it's satin black. It's a little bit has too much machine to be matte black. Then we have 3M. It says 3M clearly all over it, 1080. Really obvious. Has a very distinct scent to it. So it's, I think it smells phenomenal. Other than everything else that I don't like about it, it does smell great for a vinyl. It just has this scent to it that's kind of draws you in as an installer. It's what takes me back. This is what I started out with. So the 1080 series. So it's a nice film. It looks great. Now like I said, we have a lot of issues, especially with their gloss films, with it leaving glue lines. Also, they tend to be a little bit more hazy for some reason, and I'm not sure why. So supposedly the hazy, cloudy dots go away over time. I have yet to see that even happen, because I've done at least a dozen cars over the past 2 years using 3M because customers just want it. I always explain to it the finish is not always what you think that you're going to get, but they just want the color, and they're okay with standing 4 or 5 feet back and not really seeing those glue lines, because that's all it takes. So as soon as you get close to the car, you're going to be able to see them. So let's move into the Chinese film. So it's really kind of rigid, and that is your standard backing paper for most Chinese films. All right, just a bunch of squares. It's great for cutting. At least they have markings on it, because Avery's has no markings on it. I wish they put some markings on it so that we could, cut a little bit straighter. It would be nice. But whatever, we do what we have to. Now I'm going to show you these two at the same time. So we have the old Vvivid carbon fiber and the new version of that. I'm not sure how well they'll show up, but yeah, you can see actually. So this one right here is the new version, and this is beautiful actually. It's nice and rich in color, while this one looks a lot more dull, more like a chalkboard. It's got a little sheen to it, but not nearly as much as that. This is gorgeous. All right. So I have yet to use this film at all. All right, so I wanted to explain that about these different types of films. I also have some Avery here. I have a very small piece. I have larger pieces kicking around, but this is just Avery gloss black, and Avery has a blank backing paper. Now I'm going to use this in the example as well, since I do have a piece here, and I'm going to show you how stretchy all these films are without adding any heat. All right, so we're going to cut this. We're going to get all these pieces, we're going to get a bunch of pieces on the hood of the car. The hood is hot, all right? So we're going to see what sticks the most, what stretches the most, and without adding any heat, with just the temperature on the surface of the hood. I recommend, if you are doing a hood wrap, to not do it while it's hot. Let the car cool down, let the panels cool down. You're gonna want to wash it off with cold water anyways, whatever, and give it some resting time. So if someone ever pops in for a hood wrap, it's not one of those things you want to do on the spot. Even if you have time to do it, I wouldn't do it. You're gonna want to give the car some time, so tell them to come back in 3 or 4 hours, and then it should be ready for them by then, or next day. So here's the 3M. Just trying to stand the roll up. Give me 1 second. Here's the Chinese stuff that I couldn't even really unroll. It's like those snapping bracelets. Maybe I'm a lot older than you guys, but they used to have these snapping bracelets. You hit it on your wrist, and it would just recoil or coil up over your wrist. This is just kind of doing that on its own, so it just reminds me of that. Can't even really cut it properly. So already a lot of fighting when it comes to just a simple task of cutting the film, you know, like it's just so curled up right now. Look at this, it's nice and relaxed, and same as the other ones. That over here. So this is the new Vvivid carbon fiber, and here's the old. So yeah, look at the difference with the backing paper, guys. You can see that Chinese film just is really hard to even unroll. It takes effort to unroll it, which is really weird. So I've maybe played around with Chinese film just a couple of times in my life. I know better than to use it on a vehicle because I know that this is going to eat the paint. It's just very unsafe. And for those of you who are questioning the color of that 3M, I'm going to tell you right now. We'll find it. Gloss. It's in here. This is the newer swatch. Gloss white aluminum, possibly. Maybe a little darker. It's this one here. It's gloss sterling silver. That's what it is. 3M is gloss sterling silver, in case you want to get some of that for yourself. All right, so we're going to do a few things here. We're going to put the vinyl down, and I'm going to put it in order, actually. Let's start with the Chinese stuff. Just right here. Oh, it's so rigid, guys. I think it's going to crack. All right, so it's still super curly, and it's not flimsy at all. Like, look at that. It just stands up on its own. That's pretty crazy. I'm holding it out, pretty much holding it out completely, and it's just standing up on its own. All right, I'm not going to leave this on my car for too long, and the adhesive is really aggressive. So let me show you the air channels. We can get this on the camera somehow. Let me see if I can find the right angle. There we go. All right. You can see that there, it's a square air channel. All right. There we go. That's a good angle. So that will determine how good these channels are. Will determine our air release potential. I'm just going to rest it there because I don't want to tack it down yet. The surface of the vehicle is hot, so it's going to stick really hard. I know that already. And then we have the old Vvivid. It's kind of rigid. It's not that soft. A lot softer than that though. I'm gonna rest that there. And then we have. This is my own personal car, by the way. So we removed the rose gold. There'll be something new coming. I'm not sure yet. But just wanted to go back to the black for a little bit. I bought the car in black and I like it. This one, nice and thin actually. It feels really nice. It feels really, really good. And let's do a little comparison of 3M's carbon fiber, which is like, depending on where you live, here in the US or Canada, it can range from about $70 a yard to in Canada it would be about $70 a yard, in the US maybe 45, 50, I don't know, I don't buy it very often, so that'd be up for your own research. So let's check it out here. So we have 3M's carbon fiber, and we have this one right here, which is Vvivid's. It's much, much nicer. Look at that. Let's hold it the same direction. Beautiful. So 3M's almost looks bronzy brown compared to that. All right? So let's just put that away. Let's get this piece down here. Got stuck to itself. There we go. Rest that there. Let's do the new Vvivid color. So right off the bat, white adhesive or a white backing. So it makes it a little bit more difficult to seam. When we want to, if we need to seam any areas in the car, you're gonna see a white edge, as opposed to if this adhesive was clear, this backing part here was clear, then we wouldn't see a white edge. We wouldn't even see an edge really. So it kind of makes a bit of a difference when you go to seam. I always like clear adhesives, but not all adhesives are going to be clear. You know, there's a reason why this one, some of these are white, some of them are gray. I can try and find one. Yep, so this one on 3M is gray. You can see that. All right, so we have gray adhesive, but the red over here has clear adhesive. All right, so weird because they're both red, but that's whatever makes sense to them. This orange, again, gray adhesive. Yellow, sometimes white, I think. No, that's gray also. Avery usually uses white, but yeah. All right. So let's that piece is down. Let's see. Let's get the 3M going. I'm going to show you the glue lines between all these films right here. So I can already see a lot of haziness in the 3M film. Before I touch it at all, I'm going to try to show you that on the camera. Not that it will go away anyways, even when I do squeegee it. This is the Oracal. Oracal is just a little bit damaged, I think, from storage purposes or shipping purposes. Also, the hood of the car is not all that clean. There might be a couple of imperfections, small spots here and there. And then I'm just going to put, the Avery one's going to be a little difficult to tell. I'll put it in the middle here. It's gloss black over gloss black, but we're going to do it anyways. So I can actually put the Avery on top of the hood, look at that, and it's hot right now, and I can drag this right across. It's not sticking, it's amazing. That's why I like how this film installs. You can have a great turnaround time on your jobs using Avery, but the finish can be compromised sometimes with the glue lines, and they're not that bad though, and it's extremely tolerable as opposed to 3M. So, all right, so let's just kind of try to pull this, scoot it down a little bit here. I'm going to pull this without heat. So the air release, first of all, I can't get really any bubbles out here, but I'm sure the heat of the hood of the car isn't helping. So I can't, I'm trying to pull it, it doesn't even move, okay? Let's see what happens here. So air release works great. This is the old Vvivid carbon fiber. Let's see what happens. Okay, so it has a lot more stretch already. You can probably see that. I can come all the way down. Oh, and it broke. All right, so that's obviously, I overstretched it without any heat. So that can happen. Now that was, I was putting a lot of weight on that. I weigh 195. I was putting all my weight on that, all right? So let's just leave that there. I'll squeeze some of it down, and not all of it, because I want to see, or I want to show you if there's going to be glue lines, all right? Same deal here. get some of the Chinese stuff down. Not all the way, because we're going to see if that needs a glue line up where I squeeze. That's where it will need a glue line. Alright, so comes off with the new stuff, comes off really nicely. It's actually very repositional. It does have an initial tap. Avery's is one of the few films that doesn't have an initial tap until you put pressure on it. So without any heat, I can stretch this again. Alright, so it's stretching pretty good. We're going to try not to snap it because I don't want to fall again. Alright, so that stretches pretty good, alright? All you have to do is heat that and it'll shrink it back to its original shape and size. This one has a bit more of this new satin, whatever it is, rose gold something, metallic. I don't know, it's like a pinkish color. Oh yeah, that stretches even nicer than this. So that's, oh yeah, look at that. Alright, so I put a lot of weight into that, but it stretches reasonably well. Put the same amount of weight into each of these. That didn't even move. Alright? So let's just kind of stick it back there, and then we're going to see what's got glue lines. Alright? Let's do 3M. Comes off really nicely. But there is a haziness to the gloss finish, and I'm going to show you guys that after I get the piece down. Try and lay this as smooth as possible. Alright. Just squeeze some of that so I have some traction there, and then we're going to pull, alright? So it feels about the same as Vvivid as far as the pull goes. Alright. Pretty good though. Watch Avery's, it's amazing. So the thing is, there's so many glue lines in here already, guys. It's crazy. It's actually crazy. Alright. Well, I don't even have to do anything. The film is literally, I'm squeegeeing it. As I squeegee it, it's getting glue lines. Like I'm moving it every 5 seconds, 3 seconds, and it's getting glue lines. It's nuts. So I'm going to show you all of them afterwards. Not even the cheap Chinese stuff has this kind of glue lines. Anyways, we're going to get off of that for a minute. Let's do the Oracal. See how the stretch goes. Pretty nice feeling stretchy. It sticks a lot though, as you can see, more than all the rest. I've used this film several times as far as full car wraps go. Same with hexes. They do get the job done. There are minor glue lines, and I'm going to show you those as well. You see them more on certain colors, but it stretches reasonably well also, okay? Without any heat. Carbon fiber is never going to stretch as much as the other films because of it's a little bit thicker. It's going to be it has a textured pattern to it. So this is actually a textured film. Right? You can hear that sounds. Now this one is a lot less texture than this one here. This one is. So I'm trying to. Sound is much more louder over here than over here. Don't know if you can hear that. Alright, so let me just squeeze a little bit more of this Oracal on here. And then we're going to see and check out its glue lines. Alright? It's got some. Okay, this is Avery. So with Avery, find a good angle for you guys. Let's do it. Let's do it here, alright? Small piece. Let's do it in the middle. This film stretches amazing. I can stretch it as far as all these with one hand. But no, I just pulled it off because I didn't have enough stuck down on it. But I have more. This one doesn't work out. Alright, let's do this again. it down. Let's get a little more traction this time. I'll squeeze you a little bit more down than I did right there. But I can actually pull this and stretch it with one hand, all right? I'm gonna hold it. All right? Imagine if I lean into that. If I lean into this right now, it's just gonna go right down the floor pretty much, unless it breaks. It's like bubble gum. Amazing. Obviously, we don't want to stretch a film ever that far, but that's like 250% stretches, something like that, 200% at least. So I'm going to keep this up and shrink it back a little bit because it's really, really stretched. So all vinyls, they have a memory, right? We can shrink them all back. As long as we haven't post-heated it, the film will still have a memory, okay? If we post-heat that in the position that it was, and then we go to try and shrink it afterwards, it's probably not going to move. So what we do with the post-heat is we end up killing that memory, and the vinyl is now reset to the position of where you post-heated it at. And that's really helpful in some situations where you do need to stretch, or you're trying to make the install with one less seam, just to make it cleaner. You can use a post-heat if you do it well enough. Your film will last because you're just killing the memory in it, so it will never pull back for the most part. It should never pull back. That's the idea. All right. So I'm going to go over these with you right now. I'll walk you around. So let's get nice and close. So here's your purple Chinese carbon fiber. There's some air bubbles in there, but whatever, I wasn't really squeegeeing. I don't even know where I squeegeed up to, somewhere around there, or not even. So, but let's see. Yeah, so I squeegeed up to there, okay? So there's air bubbles there because I didn't even squeegee that part. So that's kind of where I squeegeed up to. We're gonna see if there's a glue line there. I squeegeed up to about here on here. These are my nail marks. I just was scratching the hell out of it like this. So I wonder if that will actually go away. Let's check it out. Sometimes film will be self-healing. Does not appear to be. All right. So it's got some marks in it. I was really aggressive with it. You want to be careful, obviously. We're not gonna, I'm just beating these things up right now. Then we have the Vvivid new color. It was called it the new color. And then we have Avery gloss black. It's got some spots under it because this car wasn't all that clean. And then let's check out 3M and the glue lines. All right, guys, that is a glue line. Look at this thing. It runs all the way down. All right, I'm gonna try and get a better angle in the light here. Let's go on this side. All right, maybe you can see. I can see so many of these. Give me one sec. Let's get a flashlight. See if that helps. All right, look at those glue lines on the top here. Look at them all that. This, there's another one there, and they run the entire length. All right, these they run all the way down to the end. You can't see because there's no light on that side, but just trying to find the right angle. So this is what makes this film not even close to #1 in my books, and this is one of the main reasons why I never use it. Now, this is not something that they can warranty. This is not something that they've fixed, and this has been like this for like 2 or 3 years. As soon as it started happening, I stopped using it. So all that right there, all that, another one there. They're literally every time I squeegeed more film, okay? That's not the squeegee. That is a glue line. That is not a mark like these are on the top here. These are underneath the film. These will never, ever go away, all right? Now, it also has some haziness to it, so let's see if we can find that cloudiness. So can you see these little white clouds all here, okay? It's actually a very cloudy film. You can see it all. It's very cloudy in this area. Try not to look too close to this light right here. Try to look, just refocus the camera. Try to look just outside of the light, all right? And just around here, you're gonna see all that haziness. All right, so that's a gloss film, which is super hazy. This one here is your Oracal, has some glue lines also. So this right here is a glue line, all right? It's not a wrinkle, it's just a glue line. That right there, this huge vein right here, that is a glue line, all right? And there's some other smaller ones. See if I can get some light on it. Don't mind that wrinkle there, but I just saw some now. Yeah, right around there, you can see them now. So if I look about that area there, there's some scratches, but that was from shipping or whatever. Okay, so that is the Oracal satin black, or whatever you want to call it. Now let's check out the Avery. It's kind of, we didn't really get a good close-up. There's a lot of dirt and crap under there. It's really scratched up also. Gloss black scratches easily, just like carbon fiber. Doesn't matter if it's Avery or if it's Vvivid. If you're too aggressive with the film, it's going to damage it. So be mindful when you're using your squeegee, making sure that your buffer is covering the entire edge of your squeegee. So there are some minor glue lines. I'm trying to find one for you, or there you go. So there's one right there, this guy right there. So Avery has it as well. They're not as many though. There's one there. All right, that's a glue line. Not as many as this. All right, this is just for something that costs on average at least $100 per roll, more than Avery. It's just not worth it, guys. Don't even bother. So you're not gonna be happy with the finish. Anyways, enough talk about 3M. Let's see how these things come off. So we're talking about this Chinese stuff, and it comes off pretty good. I don't see any glue lines in it at all. Nothing. All right. Carbon fiber is probably gonna hide it a little bit better. This comes off easier, but it makes a louder sound. This makes no sound. It actually doesn't even, for how sticky it feels and how rigid this is with with the feel of my hand, it doesn't even actually stick that well at all. So I'd be a bit concerned about this failing. All right, it just, I'm not even really pulling it. This has a bit more grab, but it comes off nicely. It just sounds louder, but it's not that big of a deal. All right, comes off nicely though. This one's gonna probably be very similar. I'm not pulling that hard, but I'm pulling hard enough. While that one over there was barely pulling on it. Same deal with the new Vvivid color. This is gonna do similar Avery. Yep, makes a little ripple sound. This is a small piece, that's why. So they all come off reasonably well. 3M. Okay, maybe not. 3M takes a lot of effort, all right? So a bit of effort there. So how much these are sticking to the car right now really is going to determine, I guess, how much it's going to bond to the paint over time. You know, like this is only, it's going to sit there for a year, 2 years, 3 years, who knows? So we want to make sure that this is something that we can remove. All right, so what I want to do is I'm going to bring the camera in. And we're going to start heating these. So let's do this. Let's heat it, and let's see how it goes back to its shape. You know, if it wants to go back or what. Yes. Now it's nice and pliable. Put my hand through this if I want to. All right, nice and pliable. Let's now heat it up after we put some wrinkles in it. All right, that's the new Vvivid color. All right, just gonna try and smooth it out. Squeegee. Zero glue lines, and it's been sitting there. I don't see a single glue line anywhere down here at all, all right? This one here, new carbon fiber, let's check it out. So all those wrinkles that I had in there are gonna be all gone. And let's see. It's hot, it's a little bit hot on my hand, just so you know. It's a little sticky now too. All right, so kind of messed up, got my fist in there. Let's see how this goes back. We're just kind of just testing all these to see what their reaction is like, all right? So it goes back to normal. It's a little hot right now, so just kind of. So supposedly, with this new carbon fiber, is that we can stretch this carbon fiber a lot more. And so let me start over again. So the main thing with carbon fiber is installing it without throwing this weave all out of whack. Because when you look at it in the sunlight at certain angles, you're going to start to see the difference in the weave, and it's going to look really weird. It's going to be darker, it's going to be lighter, it's going to be shinier, it's going to be more matte. It's going to be weird. So it's going to look really bad. That would happen. That happens more so with this than supposedly this new stuff. So I just stretched the hell out of it, and I don't see any of that at all in any different angle. Still looks good. So it's not really showing the deformed part of the film. It's not accentuating it. So that's good. We want that. So that makes installation a little bit easier. This stuff, this is the old carbon fiber. Let's kind of get this in here. I'm not adding a lot of heat. Heat guns in a mild setting. All right, let's heat this up. It goes back really nicely, super nicely. All right, that's the older stuff. The older, drier version. Easy that out. Still zero glue lines, zero glue lines, zero glue lines. Even Chinese stuff, zero glue lines, so they kind of have something in common. All right. Let's see how the heat goes with this. Now, we remember we couldn't even stretch this without adding any heat, like we could the other ones. All the other ones stretched. Will this one stretch with heat? Just trying to get some more traction on here, because I know it doesn't stick that well. All right. Let's see. Stinks, first of all. Added a lot of heat. Still doesn't even stretch. This is crazy. Just want to make sure you guys can see that. Whew. All right. That is really hard to stretch. Let's try to put my hand in it, see what happens. Should shrink back, because no matter how cheap the film is, it's always going to shrink back, all right? That is a characteristic of all vinyls. It's always going to pull back, always going to have a memory until you kill that memory with a post-it. Great, my hand behind it's heated up so much, but that doesn't even conform nearly as much as any of the rest, and it had hotter, all right? I don't know what that looks like to you, but it's not, this really doesn't want to move, all right? You're gonna add a hell of a lot of heat to make this work for you. And then in the end, the solvent that they use in their adhesive is going to dissolve your clear coat or your paint. Let's heat it up, shrink it back, see how that goes, should be fine. Perfect, totally fine. All right. Squeeze it down a little bit in the middle. So it scratches just the same as those do. If I run my nails on it, it's going to mark it, okay? So keep that in mind when you're squeegeeing, that you have complete coverage with your buffer, and that you're not leaving a mark with your hard edge of your squeegee, all right? Have someone coming in for training in a moment. He's here. What's going on? Just doing a YouTube video here. So yeah, it's all good. It's all good. So we're done in 5-10 minutes. So Derek's here for training. We're doing one-on-one training, and we're learning about this stuff and how to wrap a whole car. All right, just like I teach you guys on YouTube. So let's do the conformability test kind of with my hand here with the 3M. See how it goes. Doesn't need a lot of heat, I know that. It's going to conform because this film does work really well, and it does. So it does a really nice job. And we're going to heat that up and shrink it back. Super sticky, like I said, guys, so remember that. Couldn't really even pull my hand out of there that easily. If I can do a little bit here. Alright, so it didn't even really do what I wanted it to do, but get the idea. It does conform nicely. Let's flatten it out again. Time to right now.
Backwards.
Okay. Alright. And then we have Oracal, more or less the last test, and then I'm going to rip them all off, and that's going to be it. So, the Avery I don't even need to show you, that's more conformable than anything else. So it's good. Sticky too. Not as sticky though for some reason as 3M. It feels sticky on the paint though. Let's heat that up and shrink it back. Actually, I'm just going to take it off because we're done with it. I'm going to leave them on here so I can show Derek and leave the rest on. That was just the Oracal. So I'm going to leave them all on right now. I was going to remove them, but it's probably not the best idea. Now let's zoom out here. Let's go zoom in so you can see what this carbon fiber looks like a little bit more now that it's flat. All right, that compared to that, all right? So that's really dry and chalky looking. This is the new stuff. And there's Chinese stuff. Again, Vvivid's new product. Avery, 3M, and Oracal was over there. So guys, remember what I told you about all this stuff? Don't always going with the most expensive route isn't always the best option. Move this back. Fix the camera. So going with the most expensive film is not always the best option, all right? So there's another film out there, and it's called APA, and they make chrome. They make a really nice looking satin chrome, actually. It's beautiful. We're extremely popular because of how nice it looks. And it's really easy to install. It's actually too easy to install. It's so easy that the adhesive doesn't even hold. So, and this film is like $3,000 if you go look online for it. So think about that. And keep that in mind that when you're paying for quality, but you're not always getting quality. Do your research, find out what works, and then find out what works for you best. Like I said, Avery is very easy to use, but you might find that you like something that's a little bit more stiffer, something that when you pull on it, it's not so stretchy, so that might work better for you. Then in that case, you go with Vvivid, and then you get a nicer finish in the end. So find out what works for you. Maybe you like 3M, who knows? You know, they have every brand has their pros and their cons. All right, they have different colors, they have different finishes, and different price range on top of that as well. Please feel free to leave any comments in the comment section below. If you like this video, click a thumbs up. And like I said, I'll do my best to get back to all of you on whatever questions you have about what we've done here today, all right? So thanks for watching and take care. And don't forget to check out our Instagram at CK Wraps, guys. Take care.